ladies. Welcome to Growing Together in Grace. I'm Cathy.
I'm Ellen.
And this is our guest, Kelly. If you follow us on social media, you've probably already seen that I mentioned that we were going to have our first guest on, and I was very excited about this episode. It's going to be heavy at times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ellen and Kelly have a great episode, great story to share.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to hear it. I'm going to primarily be doing the questions and asking the questions, and I'll jump in from time to time.
Yep.
But this is you guys, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, before we get started, I asked Kelly to give us a little intro of who she is. So, Kelly, tell us a little bit about who you are, like where you're from, what you do, and those kinds of things.
I am Kelly Lafarge. I am born and raised in Houston. I work for a small home health agency providing speech therapy for primarily toddlers to 5 years of age.
Okay.
And she has a doggy named Archie.
Oh, yes.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's an Aussie Doodle.
Oh, I bet he's so adorable.
He's adorable and crazy.
That's funny.
He loves Ellen.
I know. There's
He's
just
as tall
times
as
where-
Ellen.
Yeah, he's bigger than me. So when I come over, I'm usually like, no, stop.
That's so great.
He'll tower over her, too. so it's
How
good.
old is your dog?
He will be 4 next month.
Okay. That's fun. Do you have any other pets or just a dog?
I have a kitty cat named Reese,
Okay.
who's 11.
Okay, do they get along?
Yes, they're buddies. They
Well, that
sleep
is a
together.
good
They
thing.
bathe each other. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. You know, sometimes dogs and cats don't get along. I grew up having cats, and I had a dog once, but that dog and my cats hated each other. So the dog did not stay with us because my mom was very much a cat person. And then when I married Jason, Jason's allergic to cats. So cats can't be a thing for us. So we do dogs. He's not like deathly allergic, but I'm not going to go. Like, so if we like come to your house, he's not going to have problems. But if we keep a cat, you know, that could be problematic.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, how long have you been doing speech therapy?
25 years.
Wow. Has it always been with the same organization, or have you changed?
I have changed a few times.
Okay. Would you say this is your favorite, or do you prefer?
I like the home health setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're pretty much like, just correct me if I'm wrong. So my oldest, when he was 2, he wasn't talking very much. And our pediatrician's like, you need to have him evaluated. And so a speech therapist came out. Is that kind of like you come to a home?
That's exactly it.
Okay. You know, the funny thing is about Joshua, and then we'll jump into your story. Joshua wasn't talking. The occupational therapist came out. The speech therapist came out. And the physical therapist came out. And literally the day after they left, guess what happened?
He started talking.
He started talking. I'm like, what happened? Like, you went from only a few words to now you can like speak in sentences.
Surprise.
So he never ended up having to have speech therapy. Now, Evangeline actually had to have in-home speech therapy. She went through a private therapist who I knew in the homeschooling world because she couldn't say her R's and her L's and her S's, I believe, forever.
Okay.
I kept thinking,
this is something new I've learned.
Yes, forever. And so it was so cute, though. I'm like, oh, I don't want it to change, but it needs to change because she was like 7. It felt like, I'm sure she was younger than that, where she was still saying, instead of lizard, she was saying wizard. I'm like, what wizard? What wizard? No, mommy. I'm like, oh, lizard. So anyway, all of this to say, well, thank you for doing that. I know that a lot of us mamas are very appreciative.
I am too. It's
Home
a
care.
rewarding
Yeah.
field. Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit about you. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I want y'all to just share a timeline of like how y'all met, how long you've known each other. We want to hear that part of your story. And then after you share that, and you guys can piggyback and interrupt and be like, that's not how that happened, or yes, that's how that happened. And then after you've shared kind of how y'all know each other and all of those things, then we'll get into the heavy stuff. And I'll jump in and be like, okay, now let's talk about the heavy stuff. Okay. And if we need to take a break, we'll take a break. But really thank y'all for being vulnerable.
I got this.
And for sharing your story. This is huge. Like, I don't know. It's huge, but it is so, so needed for our world of seeing how friends can like drift apart, but then how God can bring them back together in an incredible way. And so you guys being willing to be vulnerable and share that story is just like, I mean, I already got chills. We have napkins, okay, not napkins. Tissue, okay? So if there's tears, y'all, just leave us alone. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You know, we're women, so
you've already been with us, 12 episodes?
Yeah.
We've cried.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's cried, so it's okay. I think, and also I want to bring in one of the chapters that we've been reading from Messy Beautiful Friendships, because I think some of this is kind of what applies with our reconciliation. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't you guys share how y'all met? How about you share, if you can do it in like a 2 to 3 minute?
I'll try.
You share how you remember y'all meeting, and then you share.
Okay.
And then I'll start asking some questions.
So, 3rd grade, Braeburn Baptist School. Our teacher, Mrs. Williams, if I remember correctly, I had already been going to school there, and then it was Kelly's first day, and I remember her walking in with her mom. She's very shy. I was very shy, which is we're both introverts. So, I remember Mrs. Williams bringing me over and saying, "This is Ellen. Ellen, this is Kelly. Kelly's new to our class in our school. Can you be her friend today?" And I was just like, okay. So it kind of started off like that, where, showed her where the bathrooms were, lunchroom. I think she even sat us next to each other. Okay. I'm 48. She's about to be 48. So like
40 years ago.
Yeah. 40 years ago. So if we forget some stuff, it's because we're old. Anyways.
Man.
So yeah, you be quiet over there. Okay.
What are we doing for your 50th?
Oh, that's too far away to think about.
That's 2 years away. Don't
I'm just kidding.
Don't bring me there. But I remember that's how we first met, and then we sat together at lunch, and then we just kind of started getting to become friends. And then we found out, I don't remember how we found out, but we apparently went to the same church. And so then we were in the same Sunday school class for the most part. And then so we formed our friendship through church and through our school.
Okay.
So
Kelly, is there anything you want to add to that? Like what you remember when you first showed up to this new school and this teacher introduced you to Ellen? Like anything that jumped out, like, I've got to say this. I've got to share this.
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's okay.
It is okay.
I remember. I do remember how we became friends.
So was this a Christian school?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Here in Houston?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Small private or large private school?
Very, very small.
Very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where in the Houston area?
Southwest, like it's not there anymore. It's now a Hispanic church. Because they sold the place, but it's actually across the street from my very first school that I worked at.
Okay.
As a teacher assistant. So like in Southwest Houston, like off Bissonnet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then my next question is, so you became friends in elementary school. Mm-hmm. Did that friendship continue on into middle school? Can you share a little bit about your middle school years, Kelly?
I didn't stay at the private school through middle school years.
Okay.
I ended up being homeschooled.
Okay, I didn't know this.
See, I didn't remember this part. I was like, no, you were with me in middle school. She
Were-
goes, no. Okay. See,
Were you homeschooled all the way through middle school?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was the reason for you being homeschooled? Just you wanted to try it? Your mom?
Mom and Dad decided that it was best for both kids. So I have a younger brother, and he was homeschooled at the same time. We were trying to find the appropriate learning environment for both of us.
Okay.
And the public school wasn't the best option for us. And private school, I don't necessarily remember the reason why
Probably
we
expensive.
left.
No, I don't know.
It could be. But they made the decision to homeschool us. I did go back to private school later in my 8th grade year.
Oh, okay. So, did you enjoy being homeschooled?
I did.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Do you know I homeschool?
Yes.
I love it. I love it so much. In fact, my husband was asking me the other day, like, is this what you want to do? I'm like, yeah. Like, I know it sounds insane, but my dream is to be home with my kids and homeschool. Like, I love it.
yeah.
Now, there are days that I'm like, oh, that school bus is very tempting. But for the most part, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were homeschooled in middle school. Were you guys at the same church through middle school?
And so that's how we still remained friends, was because we had a very large youth group. Mm-hmm. And so we still saw each other on at Sunday school. And then also I remember her mom would always invite me to vacation Bible school. So I always, are we bad at that?
I'm not sure how to do this with the three of us. So keep talking.
Okay.
And sorry, y'all know this routine. We're supposed to push buttons.
Yeah, I just don't want Jason to be upset with us because we
You
weren't
talk,
pushing it.
and then when
Okay.
it's all three of us talking, we'll
you
keep
push
it on 2.
Got
It
it.
probably will never be on 3.
Got it.
Sorry, y'all. We know what we're talking about. You don't.
So we still remained friends in middle school. I went to vacation Bible school with her for several years.
Okay.
And so we still remained friends, even though there was that period where she was homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
We still hung out. Her house was basically, remember how I talked in one of the podcasts about when I was growing up? Her house was the only house my parents allowed me to go
Okay.
to. Because my parents knew her parents.
Okay.
And because they would talk at church as well. So they were very comfortable with her parents, had the same values that my parents had. So her house was the only house that I could go to.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Your house was the only house that I could go to.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
What was the church y'all went to when you were in youth?
Westbury Baptist.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Do you know that I did BSF at Westbury forever?
No.
So when we first moved here, we moved to
Weird.
Houston in 2010. In 2011, I started doing BSF at Westbury Baptist with Tanya and a couple of the other ladies from our old church.
Okay.
I loved it. That was some of my favorite years. That's a big church.
Yes. And we had a very large youth group.
And my kids actually went to their VBS a couple of times too, because
Yeah.
I knew, because of BSF, I knew several
Yeah.
of like the staff and teachers. And so they went to their VBS and it was a great
Yeah.
VBS.
That's the church that we both grew up at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
might have
cool.
worked with your kids because I worked at VBS for many summers.
What a small world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a very small world.
Yeah.
Okay, so middle school comes and goes. High
Mm-hmm.
school. Where are you now going to the Christian school that Ellen's at?
This high school was kind of weird too, because for a little bit she went to
BCA was 8th grade. BCA was 9th grade too, right?
yes, 8th and 9th. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's where we reconnected at school
Yeah.
again. Was
BCA.
Rayburn? No, Bel Air Baptist Academy.
No, yes, Bel Air Christian
Bel
Academy.
Air Christian
Okay,
Academy.
Yeah.
so y'all went to, so you guys are in the same grade.
Yes.
Okay. So y'all
Uh-huh.
went to the same high school.
Yeah.
Friendship
Ninth grade,
continues.
yeah.
All the way
Ninth
through
grade.
high school. Did you graduate together?
So again,
No.
no,
Well, we graduated together.
Together.
But 10th
Okay.
grade,
she went to
Bel Air High School.
Bel Air High School, a public school, for
Okay.
2 years,
Just one.
1 year.
That's all
Wow,
I could
you've done it all.
Yeah.
Private, homeschool, and public.
Yeah, yeah. So she went to Bel Air, 10th grade.
Yes.
And then 11th and 12th grade, we were going to another Christian school
Yes.
together. I know. I told you it's complicated.
People are gonna think you're a military kid. Like,
No. But 11th and 12th grade, we graduated together. Yeah.
Yeah.
so, like, this is not even related to friendship. Curious, did that switching schools so much, was that hard for you?
Yes. Being very shy.
I was wondering because especially when you get into those older ages, you're starting to develop friendships, and it's really hard to make friends.
But everybody liked Kelly. No. Yes, they did because she was
you're
like a
super likable.
She's like
I bet she's so
she's
true.
a sports person, so like she's very athletic. Was good. You played basketball, didn't you? Basketball, volleyball, softball.
Wow.
I wanted to be like her in sports. I was just like, yeah, I know. But I was just like, she's very talented in that area, and I never was. I kind of wasn't with volleyball, but it was just like,
Yeah.
she thinks she wasn't like very popular. I'm like, hello, yes, you were. We keep going back and forth about this because we don't remember this correctly, the same thing. So
I mean, you did say you're 48.
I'm gonna throw this cup at you, Cathy Allison.
Look, we're good friends. We can tease each other.
I'm gonna throw this cup at you.
I'm
Anyways,
teasing.
I know you are.
I'm 38, and there are things I don't remember. Like, some people just don't have. Jason has an incredible memory. I'm like, how do you remember that? I'm really trying to grow in this, try to like really put this in my head. I want to remember this moment. But okay, so y'all graduate, and then college. What's college like for y'all?
So I got married right
Okay.
after high school, and then she went on to college.
What about Blinn?
Oh yeah, that's right. See, I told you. See, we remember things differently.
Well, let me.
Yeah.
You tell me though. Since you remember, tell us
Yeah.
what you remembered.
I remember, so after graduation, we both went away to school. Ellen went to, is it Brenham?
Yes.
And I went to Belton, Texas, to Mary Hardin Baylor. A very small, used to be all women college.
Jill went there, right?
No,
Yes.
oh, okay. Small world. That's one of her best
I've been
friends.
there. Like, I've been there.
Yeah.
Actually, like 5 years ago, they have that big Easter performance they do. I don't know how long they've done it, but I went. Jill was marrying it one year, and then she took us, and Chuck Norris was there, and I was like, Chuck Norris is here. She's like, yeah, he went here. I'm like, what? It's kind of a big deal. So you went to Mary Hardin Baylor? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. For
Okay.
one whole year.
You're just continuing the tradition.
I
of,
was trying to find
one
my way.
year, and then I'm gonna go on. So, what did you went there for a year? What was your declared major when you went?
No, it wasn't declared. I was lost and didn't know what to do.
Okay. So, what happened after Mary Hardin Baylor?
So that's when Ellen, we stayed in contact. We hung out on the weekends because she
Yeah.
wasn't that far away.
Yeah. We would still hang out. We would try to hang out. Because
Yeah.
like my roommate, we also went to high school with. And then another one of our really good friends. Where was Elenita at?
I don't remember.
She was not too far away, so we would try to all four get together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was at SFA.
Okay, that's right. See, we're trying to remember here. Now we're
Yeah.
conjuring up memories here.
Haven't thought about this in decades.
40 years. Yeah, 20 years, something like that.
Okay. So you guys would still meet up when you could, and then after your first year at Mary Hardin Baylor, what happened in that part of the story and timeline?
I moved back home
Okay.
and went to community college, and that Ellen got married that summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get married, and then you move away pretty quickly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The next day.
Pretty much.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that quickly.
Yeah.
It was the next day.
Yeah. It was the
I
next
still
day.
had my hair fixed from the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. She's been maid of honor in my wedding. Yeah.
I did not realize that
Yeah.
you moved that quickly. Okay.
Yeah, I literally, they packed the U-Haul truck.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't even remember when they packed the U-Haul truck. But we left the next day. We went on our honeymoon the next day.
So, okay. Wow.
Yeah, went to Phoenix. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you moved out there, you are still here in Houston.
Yes.
So in that time that you were living out of state, how did you continue to keep up with your relationship and connect it and grow it and deepen it and all of that?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was before cell phones.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say, is this
We
before
We had to pay
cell
long
phone?
distance.
Yeah, we did have to pay long distance. I want to say we
Long
wrote. Did we
distance.
write each other?
Probably.
Yeah, I think we wrote each other. Yeah. You know, back in the day where you wrote letters and you put it in an envelope and
With
a
a
stamp.
Whoa.
And they were less than 25 cents.
25-cent stamps. Yeah,
They're
that's
now
how
like, what,
old we are.
$5? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that's how old we are. Yeah, so yeah, we would write each other. We would call when we could. She came and visited.
Yeah, we flew out there.
Yeah, yeah. Just maybe the first year that Chad and I were married.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how long were you living in Phoenix?
Oh man. In 3 years.
Okay, so while you were in Phoenix and you're here, any major life events happening for the both of you, like children?
I had Austin
Okay,
when I was out there.
okay,
You went back to school, right?
That was 2 years later.
2 years later, she went back to school.
Yeah, like away.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not at the community college anymore? I'm loving this.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
So,
school?
but Austin, we met Austin when we came and visited you in Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Microphone.
Sorry, the microphone's getting far away from you. Not there. We go.
scared of
Oh,
it.
I think it's. I wonder if it's gonna be ornery like mine is. You might have to scoot up a little
Yeah.
bit, or
Yeah.
sit
Yeah.
like a princess.
There you go.
Stuck.
Okay.
Stuck. I don't know what's on my foot, y'all. If you keep seeing me look down, I keep feeling like a snake is on. It's not a snake.
It's the microphone. It's the
the
headphones.
cords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fine.
You have
Okay.
rubber stoppers to protect us, and it's
There
not
you go.
cooperating.
That's better. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so while you guys are living in separate states, you've had children, and you left the community college and are now at a 4-year university.
Yes. Then I went to Baylor University in Waco.
Okay, so you're just hitting all the Baylors. That's what we're doing. So when you went to Baylor, did you have a declared major?
Finally, yes.
What was that?
Speech. It's speech therapy, but communication sciences and disorders.
Okay, cool. So I'm assuming you graduated from Baylor then?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Baylor's a great school. I know a lot of people go there.
I went.
And she came to the graduation.
Yep. We went to her
okay.
graduation
With her baby, Austin.
Oh,
with our
look
child,
at this.
Austin.
So at this point, you guys have been friends for a very long time. In this timeline. Like,
Yes.
At least, what, 15, 20 years at this point?
Some-
Not now, obviously. We're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
through college.
8.
So you went to her graduation.
Yeah. About 15, 16
You
years.
graduate. You go back to Phoenix? Or is this the point where you're now moving to Dallas?
This is where we are. We already lived in Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're living in
Fort
Dallas.
Worth. Yeah.
Fort Worth
Yeah.
area. Now that you're living in the same state, do you find that your friendship, you're starting to see each other more, or still not as much? Because, it's still a drive to Fort Worth.
Y'all came down
Yeah, we drove to
Fort Worth.
to visit y'all.
when I was pregnant with Ashlyn.
I don't.
Okay.
Wait, are you really?
Yep. I was pregnant with Ashlyn.
Missed that.
That's okay. I remember. Drove down. I was pregnant with Ashlyn. I was very pregnant with Ashlyn. Had Ashlyn.
In Houston, right?
No, in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I know I came over to your parents' house and saw you
Yes.
with another baby. And that was Ashley.
That was Ashlyn. So, I mean, since my family is still here in Houston, we were coming down.
For holidays
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. We
that
would
makes sense.
try to come down as much as we could. Like my parents, we would go back and forth. Like mom and dad would come up, we would go down.
Yeah.
And then like holidays and stuff, we would try to come down as much as we could. But it's like every other month.
So that helped. That really helped, like, continue and encourage the friendship. Because one of the reasons why we're having you all on the podcast is it's very rare to have lifelong friendships. Like,
Yes.
you talk to people like, wait, you have a best friend of my best friend who lives in Houston now, 25 years. Like, how are you? Like, it's really unheard of.
Yeah.
And so knowing that you guys are even longer, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. To know, like, the reminder that, like, friendship's worth it, and we can continue making the connections and deepening them and working through mess.
Yes.
Okay. And which we're going to get to. So you're in Dallas, you're in Houston. What about you at this point? Any major events happening in your life besides graduating from college or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. Just life, work, boyfriend for a long time.
Okay.
That actually, Ellen's husband, Chad, introduced us. And I sent him a message the other day, and Chad didn't remember introducing us.
That's so cool.
He doesn't remember anything. I love you, dear.
That is so cool. So the boyfriend was this Chad's friend, and he was just like, I think, like, is that how it happened?
It wasn't like a setup at all. It was just people getting together, and another person is here, and just
Was I in this?
no.
Oh.
You didn't feel good.
Oh, no. I think it was my parents wouldn't let me come.
That could have been it too.
Yeah. My parents. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But
That's really cool.
yeah.
Okay. So I think y'all are getting the idea that Kelly and Ellen have known each other for a very long time and that they have been good friends for a very long time. Now, this is the part of the episode where I'm going to ask them to share the hard part. And so if, we have to take a break or pause or laugh, tell a joke, or whatever it is we need to do,
Or cry.
we're going to do
It's
that.
okay.
Or cry. It's fine. You've seen me cry. I've cried. It's fun. So one of the things we've been learning about in our book, Messy, Beautiful Friendship, is sometimes there's mess that comes with relationships because we're not perfect people and we can hurt one another and say things that just come out wrong or misunderstand and just stop talking altogether. Now, I know that the two of you went through a season where you guys were not talking.
It was a long season.
A long season.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear this part of your story. I'd love to hear your perspectives. And I don't know how y'all want to share it. Like, if you want to be the primary or if you want to chime in and be like, okay, so here's really it might be good to hear from both sides. You know what I'm saying? So there's freedom in how we're going to share this part of the story.
I told Kelly I would share.
Okay.
For the bulk of it, because it might be a little bit difficult.
Okay.
So I feel free to chime in when you want to.
Or be like, you're so wrong. No,
I
just
know.
kidding.
No, if she wants to interject or say something, she could just tell me, hey, she'll add something in. So, so after I had my kids, and going back and forth, there were times where we just couldn't get together. Like, it was just very difficult, and we have small children, and then we're trying to get together with family, my family expectations sometimes with, you have to go see so-and-so. It's like, okay, we're only going to be here for 3 days. We still kind of want to hang out with some of our friends too. There was just times where we just didn't get to do that. And then, like, I think slowly, we just started to not talk. Would you say that was accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I don't even remember, how exactly, when we go into it a little bit of how we reconciled, like, even talking about it, it was like, what exactly?
Yeah, it wasn't like an episode of an argument
Yeah.
or bad words that were said
Yeah.
or bad feelings. It was just time, and
Yeah.
you can't put a finger on
Yeah.
exactly what
Which
happened.
is like, what exactly happened? So we just stopped talking.
So it sounds like it was just you stopped talking
Yeah.
in time, which
Yeah.
we read in this book. How, and this is not me
Yeah.
belittling you and bashing
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is us to. This is encouragement to us as listeners to remind ourselves how important it is to
Yeah.
carve out time if you can.
Yeah.
And carve out moments in your life to where you're talking with your friends.
Yes.
Because otherwise, when the talking stops, then the time stops. And then before you know it, it's what? Correct me if I'm wrong, 12 years?
I think it was longer.
It was longer.
So before you know it, your lifelong friend, you're not talking for 12 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'll break down we'll break down the timeline of like when we there was a missing gap in there. And then I think after that, I think like feelings towards each other were like, we started to feel hurt because neither one of us were kind of reaching out to each other. And so you start to form those things in your head.
You're
like,
thinking,
what did I do wrong? Well, fine. I don't, and it went through both of our heads.
Which we've talked about this in previous episodes, how important it is to address conflict. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I shared this in an episode, Kelly, a couple weeks ago. I grew up, before I was adopted, the way that we handled conflict was like throw whatever you can and hurt the person. Abuse, very abusive. And then after I was adopted, the way that we handled conflict is we didn't address it. Like, we wanted to keep the peace. It's still that way in some regards. And in my family, we kind of like put it under the rug. We're like, there's a problem, but we're not going to address it. And the problem with that is when you don't deal with the conflict, as you guys are going to share in your story, that conflict will just fester and fester and fester and grow. And now we're like, why are we even upset with, or like, why are we not talking? Like, because you guys are both now thinking, I'm assuming you are, I know you did. Is she upset with me? What did I do? Is she mad? I don't know what to do. Should I give her,
we stopped talking right after I had my youngest. He was just a baby. He was a baby, like 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So, and
so were you, sorry, Ellen, I didn't mean it.
No, I was just going to say, like, so you have those thoughts and those feelings in your head. And so you just don't talk.
Were you struggling with the same kind of feelings of, she must be mad at me. I must have said something.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not going to, I don't, were you doing that as well?
Yeah, because since our parents went to the same church, our parents would talk. So I would hear through our parents that they were in town and they did this and did that. So me and my boyfriend at the time were getting our feelings hurt. Like, they're not spending time with us. What is going on?
Like, what's wrong? Why won't they hang out with and spend time with us?
Yeah.
And then you are like, well, why are they like, so at any point in this time period were you guys like, should we just reach out and ask? Or were you like,
we did try that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they were in the ministry and trying to follow what God's plan for them and their family was. So they were moving around a lot.
Yeah. This is where we moved to Mississippi.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, we were living in Mississippi. That's what it was. And then so we weren't coming out back home as much.
Because at that point you're at the house. The ministry and staying with the kids.
Yeah. Our house parents. So that was even more difficult.
Yeah. So did you guys at least try to keep up somehow with like through your parents of like
pretty much
checking in? Like,
I think that's how we did it for a long time.
For a long time. Like, Mom and Dad would tell me stuff about Kelly and I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'm sure, like I said, our parents saw each other because they still talked to each other.
Yeah.
And so that went on for a span of I'm going to, when I counted it back, it was 12 years.
Wow.
12 years. Because Andrew was born in 2003. And then the next time we saw each other was when my mother passed away.
Okay.
There was another time. There was, we met at Ninfa's in Bel Air. You remember?
I do not
was-
remember this.
My hairdresser had dyed me platinum blonde, so I'm trying to think what year that
I
was.
do not remember this, friend. See?
Yeah.
So you,
I had started my pet sitting service.
Okay.
Um,
Was it just you and me?
no, Chad and Trey too.
Okay.
The four of us met, and I want to say that was our last time
Yeah.
until your mom's funeral.
Yeah. Which is about 12 years.
Is it?
12 years.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the part that I'm curious about. So 12 years, you guys aren't talking really. You're still hearing about each other from family and friends, and did see each other that one time at, what'd you say?
Ninfa's.
Oh, is that?
Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious, once you guys started talking, it was at your mom's funeral, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just a quick, I'm sorry, hug, and then you didn't talk again? Or was that kind of the thing that brought you back together?
So, if I recall, she came with her parents.
Your microphone. I mean,
Oh.
you don't have to be near as close.
Yeah.
Kelly and I have to be.
Yeah.
My husband says I have to basically be like, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Sorry if that was if you're watching video, it's probably unattractive, but there you go.
So, it was, I called her mom because I was
Okay.
making phone calls. And I called her and I said, I just wanted to let you know that my mom passed away.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, honey." And so I assumed that she told Kelly. She was going to tell Kelly. I think she even told me she was going to tell Kelly.
Okay.
But I, my head was like in a fog, so I, wasn't expecting, her or her parents to come, and I was very, very delighted at just going through, to see her after so many years.
Yeah.
And we hugged, and I think I remember saying, I've missed you, like that. And I think I remember we cried. And I remember, okay, Lord, so maybe we can start to, yeah, I know, I may need it in a minute. We can maybe reconcile our friendship. And so we had been back for maybe, 8 years. We had been back for 8 years. So we hadn't, in that time frame that we had been back, we still hadn't necessarily reached out to each other. I don't think we reached out to each other.
I'm wondering if that trip to Ninfa's was when we attempted it.
Okay, it might have been. Again,
A long time ago.
we're trying to remember some of the recollect some of the things, but you might have been right. I don't remember though.
Yeah, I don't either. That timeline is fuzzy.
Yeah, the timeline is fuzzy because it was just so long ago. And I remember after my mom passed away, I think it was a couple of weeks later, I reached out to her. I sent her a text. I had her phone number, still kept her phone number. I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, really love for you and Trey to have dinner with us." And she said, I don't remember. I think I got a response from her.
I don't know.
I might not have gotten a response. Again, I don't remember. But there was a couple times after that I had sent a text
Okay.
and I didn't get a response. So that hurt. But I was just like, okay. I just chalked it up to, even as much as it hurts, it is not time for us to reconcile our friendship.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of times where I would think about her and I would just pray for her and just say, okay, you put her on my mind today, Lord. I'm going to pray for her.
Yeah.
So that's how I prayed. And then I would always pray when she came up in my mind, Lord, please help us reconcile. Please, like, let us be able to talk again because I miss my friend.
Yeah.
So it was hard at times. I'm not going to lie. And then 2 years later, 2 years ago, Chad and I were out with some friends, and we received a phone call from our mutual friends that said that Kelly's husband had passed away. So, after dealing with that news, I took a chance, and I talked with Chad, and I said, I'm going to reach out. I still have her phone number. I'm just going to see how she's doing. And I did. And she answered me back. And we texted each other. We started texting each other pretty much every day after that.
It was every day.
Every day.
She texted me every day. Hey, friend, checking on you.
What a good friend.
So, like I said, this is the hard part. So, excuse the crying.
It's okay.
And anyways, we just kind of picked up from our friendship there. And then I did not want to push. And I prayed that God would give me direction on how to continually, like, because
Be
we
in her
hadn't,
life,
be in her life. Because we hadn't seen each other. And there was still that big elephant in the closet of there's this hurt between us that we need to get past before we can move on with our friendship. So it was probably a couple of months after Trey passed away, and we had lunch together.
And pause for just a quick second.
Yeah.
Trey is the boyfriend that Chad introduced you to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to make clear, that
Yes.
this is the long-term, he's now husband.
Yeah.
All y'all have been good friends for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
continue.
we had
please.
lunch,
Okay.
and then I kind of broached the subject and said, I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry. And I'm just really thankful that God placed you in my life again, and I hope that we can be friends. So we're in the tea shop, because this is like our favorite tea shop now. And we're like crying, boo-hooing. And I'm like, oh, these people must think we're crazy. But like, we're crying. But ever since then.
You guys been inseparable.
Yes.
It's so cute.
I know.
So I'm going to chime in real quick and say some things. And if
Yeah.
you want to add anything, please do. I mean, I know it's tough.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say that I think would be so important for our listeners to hear is you were vulnerable.
I was.
And that you were like, okay, Lord, I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to open up. And if it hurts, it hurts. But you were fighting for this friendship. Not just that, but you wanted to come alongside your friend, your lifelong friend, to comfort and encourage her in her time of grief and pain and harm.
Yeah.
So you were vulnerable in that way. And then you were vulnerable in being willing to admit, hey, I'm sorry, friend.
We both were.
Yeah.
Said
And
it
then
at the same
so
time.
you took the initiative, which then allowed her, okay, now I can come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's so important in friendships that be like, if you feel the Spirit prompting you to like be the first to do it, because I bet you'll be surprised. Then that gives your friend the courage and the boldness to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
Which happened with you all. Like I've as long as I've known you, I've also known Kelly. So
yeah.
y'all became
Yeah. Has it been that long already?
Yeah, because
2 years.
we started going to the same church. Was it COVID? So did Trey pass in COVID?
No.
Tail end of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess
I mean,
that's
because
about right.
to be fair, our church didn't really start meeting, like, even though we were a church together.
Yeah, we were still online.
Online for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just want to praise God, first of all, that He reconciled your friendship. And I can only imagine how beautiful it is now, because now that you've gotten past that hard,
Yeah.
I bet you find that your relationship is at a completely different level than it was even
Oh yeah.
before then.
Definitely.
We value life, time,
Friendship.
friendship.
Yeah.
It's precious. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you say it was hard for you, or were you like, so I'm curious, what gave you the boldness and courage to go to the funeral?
I'd known her mommy.
Okay.
I loved her mommy.
Okay.
And I loved her, and I wanted her to know that I loved her and supported her, and I was sorry for the loss of her mom.
Okay. So that also was bold, especially since y'all hadn't seen or talked to each other very much at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, what a story.
Yeah.
I'm very encouraged to hear and see.
And I wanted to bring up because
Yes, I
I'm
wanted
not
you to share this.
quite done with our book, but there is a chapter here about what friends are for, and it says enter the adversity of others. And so when we
Entered each other's heart.
yeah, and it's been tough because when I re-entered her life was right after her husband passed.
Yeah.
And just walking through that with her has been difficult. And to watch her go through that has been difficult. But I was struck by this chapter because it was encouraging in that, bear one another's burdens. Galatians 6:2 says, Paul says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. As friends, we're supposed to bear each other's burdens. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's been really tough for her the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And so to come back into a friendship and then walk with her
Through hard stuff.
a hard time.
Yeah.
That's what friends are supposed to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It can
Absolutely.
get hard, but that's what friends are supposed to do. So.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Now, you guys are recently doing a devotion together, right?
Mm-hmm. We are.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was a devotion that you see. Now I hit the microphone.
My turn.
Ellen. Okay, so this is why I love introverts. You want to know why I love introverts? They're so quiet and sweet and just sitting there, and out of nowhere they're like cracking up and making jokes, and like, my turn to hit them. I'm like, look at you, you're on top of it, quick and witty. Yeah. What devotion?
Grief. The 30-day study on grief. Yes.
By Bob Kellman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was
so
like, I don't remember the name of the author because I know you
Yes,
do.
yes.
But we've been doing that together.
Yeah.
And we're touching base with each other, texting each other. So,
good.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you, ladies, for sharing your story. I'm very excited
Yep.
to see what God's going to do through that.
Yeah.
I'm sure people may ask questions. Hearers might ask, like, how did
Yep.
you do it?
Yeah.
How do we do it? But yeah, I would say praise God.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing. I know it was hard. Y'all did really well, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here
There's a
I
moment
am.
there.
I'm worried about her. And I'm like, oh
Oh,
my
no,
gosh.
she was too, my friend.
Okay. Which is kind of why I kind of was
Not look at me.
facing at you. Like, I'm like, if I look at her, I'm just going to be a river and I'm not going to be able to get through this difficult part of this podcast. But
So, I mean, I won't take very much more time of your time. But one thing that I want to say that was encouraging to me. So I don't know if you know this. I am no longer friends with somebody that is really hard. And I'm hopeful, hearing your stories, that maybe somewhere down the road that God will bring us back together and we will be able to reconcile and heal and move on from that. So
Yeah.
that brings me hope. I also know, though, and just with the way that people are in life and whatnot, that sometimes reconciliation does not always happen this side of heaven. And so I'm just trying to like walk in faith and hope and trust that
Yeah.
like the Lord will do it in his timing. But
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
tough. It is
It's
very tough.
Yeah.
As I saw through you too, hearing your story, how hard it was. But anyway, well, all of that to say, we were so bad at pushing numbers.
Oh my.
Jason, have fun editing this one
Is that on us or on you?
the whole time.
Oh no.
It's, to be fair, you guys mostly talked.
Yeah.
I mean, I did do some talking, but Jason's gonna have fun with that one. I'm so sorry, honey. That's okay. I have pink headband headphones, and I feel like a little girl at the school table.
Well, they're your daughters.
My little feet
It's
are
okay.
dangling.
Okay, stop it. Because mine are
I know.
too.
Our husbands tease us all the time how our feet never touch the ground.
Stop.
Are your feet touching? I'm like, no, dude. And you know that they've never touched ever. Anyway, all this to say, thank you guys for sharing your story.
I'm gonna put it on too now.
And thank you for being on here, Kelly. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure there might be some other episode be like, Kelly, come back. I don't know. We'll see. You know, it might be something stupid and silly, like let's do a joke night. I don't know. Anyway, we are so glad you came to listen to us today, and I hope that hearing about Ellen and Kelly's friendship and hearing how God reconciled them will encourage you, especially if you are in a season right now where you're in a spot where you are no longer talking with a friend of yours. I hope their story encourages you to continue to pray and continue to press in and on, and hope that God will bring reconciliation for you and your friend. Again, thank you for listening to
Thanks,
Growing
guys.
Together in Grace. I'm Kathy.
I'm Ellen.
And thank you for being with us today, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.